About 2 years ago, my friend Star introduced me to the Alien franchise. I ended up really enjoying it, so we just kept going through the franchise. Eventually, we got to Alien Isolation. I played and she watched. Oh man, does Isolation kind of suck. Alien Isolation is a good game in my opinion. It takes what the movies did and forms it into something playable. It has the tension, the fear, and brutality of the series. But did it really need to be 18 hours long? And so you go through 18 hours of hell, no checkpoints whatsoever, only to get on by a cliffhanger ending. Which, mind you, we only got confirmation of a sequel somewhat recently. The game's from 2014. Oh, what was my warning in here? Oh, yeah. Alien Isolation works best in short bursts. So what if the game was just that? Welcome to Reclone, a currently in beta Doors-like Alien Isolation clone made by Firebolt Games. And I mean that in a good way. It takes Isolation and alters the dynamic without ruining the core gameplay. You play as a clone tasked with retrieving classified files from the NVX Orion. So how does it work? Instead of one long-ass hallway like Doors or Pressure, there's 3 different sectors, each separated by a tram. While gameplay doesn't change too much between each area, there is certain special rooms and puzzles specific to each of them. Overall, the look of the game is amazing. Each area looks lived in, and each sector has a distinct look. The admin sector is the most basic, and the shortest being only 12 rooms. It's the first sector you'll see upon entering the Orion. Luggage, trash, and the usual for a station of this size. The engine sector is the station's backbone. Containing 23 rooms, it looks rugged and dirty with tons of equipment, exposed pipes, and other mechanical doodads littering the place. The last one currently in the game is the crew sector. Bedrooms, offices, personal belongings. A place that used to be filled with people is now empty. Containing another 23 rooms, it's devoid of life. I mean, the same can be said for the whole station, but the crew sector is where the most people were, so it feels the emptiest. Well, besides the thing crawling around in the vents. As of writing this, there's only 3 active threats. The most common of these is the Annex 4. These are robots that roam around certain rooms. If you're familiar with Isolation, these are just working Joes. Unlike the Working Joes, however, there's only one annex at a time. Unless you count one room in particular, but we'll get there in a second. You'll know a room contains one when you need to crouch under the door to get inside said room. If you're backed into a corner, or you try to crawl under something when they're too close, they'll catch you. While you can't kill them, you can stun them by the Sonic Transmission Cube, or STC for short. Not only will these distract them from you, it'll also stun them for a short period of time. Word of advice, no, you cannot throw these through the vents. Sounds good. Very cool. I can't throw them through. Oh, well, I'm f***ed. I gotta take damage. Or not. Okay, cool. On floor 22 of the engine sector, you're tasked with starting a generator. To deter you in said task, there is not 1, not 2, but 3 NX4s. They'll never all group up on you at once, at least from my experience. All you need to do is hit each switch in the right order and you're out of there. Overall, the NX4s don't really serve too much of a threat, unless you're stupid, or they somehow clip through a wall. Oh, poor guy. Whoa, oh god. The same cannot be said for XR24, or the Hunter. This is the Xenomorph replacement, but unlike Isolation, he's more reserved. You'll know when he's coming by a loud stinger followed by the emergency lights going on and banging up in the vents. When this happens, you have a random amount of time before he'll pop out and begin to hunt. The reason I say random is because sometimes it'll be a bit before he pops out. At other times, it's f***ing instant. In order to avoid having to pay 50 Robux to respawn, which we'll talk about, you'll need to hide in either A, a locker, or B, under something. Mostly tables. Pretty much only tables. Once it leaves, it's not gone forever. Stay crouched and make your way to the exit. If the door has a red force field, that means you're safe once you're through. The Hunter will only be active for 1 to 2 rooms, except for room 22 of the crew sector. In this room, you're tasked with finding 3 power cores in the Nova Cafe in order to escape. However, while you do this, the Hunter is hunting you. He's out of the vents and won't go back inside until you leave the area. This is a good time to bring up the motion tracker. It's a little useless outside of this area, but it'll show you the direction and how close the Hunter is to you. It also doesn't make the boop sound effect from Isolation, and I'm really pissed about that. Like, I get it, copyright, but you could have had something. You can either find one randomly, or you can buy one from a vending machine using credits. Along with this, you can also buy some flares. These will distract the Hunter for a short period of time, I think. I tried to get footage of this, but to no luck. Last and certainly least, XR03, or the Clinger. These guys are genuinely awful. They serve no real threat if you're paying attention. Hell, even if you try to die to them, they won't even kill you all the way. It's the only threat that can appear in any room, so it feels even more shitty. Speaking of shitty, this needs a redesign, man. Actually, I don't like any of the enemy designs for that matter. They just feel so out of place with the rest of the game. NX is right, but the other two, like, no offense to the people or person who made these designs, it's just that compared to the environment, they just aren't weird enough. The same could be said for the general flow. There's really no environmental threat when moving room to room. There's the Clinger, but again, if you're paying attention, he's absolutely zero threat. I had to go out of my way to even get this footage, for crying out loud. There's also the trip mines, but just like the Clinger, if you're not paying attention or the game circumcises one just to f with you, alright, you game, it won't ever be a threat. Since Reclone is based off of Alien and the crew clearly had access to weapons given the trip mines, why not have some abandoned sentry units you have to evade like in Pressure? Could also give the flare another use, have it be able to distract the sentries to make the encounter quicker, or actually play into the space setting by having an asteroid hit a part of the ship or something. I don't know, I'm just spitballing. However, while I would like the game to be harder, they need to forego the pay to respawn build. Yes, they give you free revives for specific goals and as daily rewards, but dude, this just doesn't work with the gameplay. In Pressure, it's your own fault if you die. Didn't hear a sound cue? Well, you're dead. The same can be said for some things in Reclone, but not the Hunter. He's too unpredictable. For an example I gave earlier, sometimes they give you like a minute before he pops up. Sometimes he just does it instantly, or sometimes when he goes back up into the vents, he'll run around 3 times and then pop out. Other times, 1 or 2. It'd be better to instead incorporate a 3-life system and then balance the game around that. And before you comment, skill issue, in what way is it skill issue when the AI is so RNG dependent like that? Overall, I like what Reclone is doing. For a game in beta, it shows great promise of what's to come. Well, minus the AIs. I recommend checking this game out if you're an alien/sci-fi horror fan, or just a fan of doors likes in general. With that being said, I'll see you when I see ya.